Hello guys and welcome to Details Display. Today's topic is about time travelers. Do you believe in time travel? Well, I'm a skeptic myself, but if these people's stories about time travel are true, that would be pretty awesome. So without further waiting, let's get to it. Our first case is the Moberly Jourdain incident. In the year 1901, two English women named Anne Moberly and Eleanor Jourdain both went to France for a vacation. Once in France, one of the places they visited was the Palace of Versailles, because, that's what one does when one visits France. And while they were at Versailles, they visited what's known as the Petit Trianon, which is a little chateau on the palace grounds that Louis XVI gave to Marie Antoinette as a private space for her to hang out. But while they were there, they claimed they saw some odd occurrences. They said they spotted people wearing anachronistic clothing, heard mysterious voices, and saw buildings and other structures that were no longer present, and, indeed, hadn't existed since the late 1700s. Finally, they said, they caught sight of Marie Antoinette herself, drawing in a sketchbook. They claimed to have fallen into a time slip, and been briefly transported back more than 100 years before being jolted back to the present by a tour guide. Did they really travel back in time? Probably not. Various explanations include everything from a folie à deux, basically a joint delusion, to a simple misinterpretation of what they actually saw. But for what it's worth, in 1911, roughly 10 years after what they said they had experienced occurred, the two women published a book. These days, it's available as The Ghosts of Trianon. Check it out, if you like. At number 2 we have the mystery of John Titor. John Titor is perhaps the most famous person who claims he's time traveled. Trouble is, no one has heard from him for almost 17 years. Also, he claimed he came from the future. The story is long and involved, but the short version is this: on November 2nd of 2000, a man calling himself John Titor, actually Time Traveler Zero, posted a message on a little-known internet discussion board, something called the Time Travel Institute Forum. "Greetings," he wrote. "I am a time traveler from the year 2036. I am on my way home after getting an IBM 5100 computer system from the year 1975. He said, made a side trip to 2000 to pick up some family photos and check in on family in Tampa and Rochester. Over the next 4 months, Titor's 570 or so internet posts would describe an upcoming civil conflict over a U.S. presidential election, warn us about a mad cow disease outbreak, and tell us about the impending nuclear war with Russia." On March 24 of 2001, John Titor signed off. He was heading back to 2036. On number 3, we have Barbie Space. I'll be honest, I'm not totally sure what to do with this one, but I'll present it to you here, and then you can decide for yourself what you think about it. Here it is. Valeria Lukyanova has made a name for herself as a human Barbie doll, who also has kind of scary opinions about some things, but a 2012 short documentary for Vice's My Life Online series also posits that she believes she's a time-traveling space alien whose purpose on Earth is to aid us in moving from the role of the human consumer to the role of human demigod. What I can't quite figure out is whether this whole time-traveling space alien thing is like a piece of performance art created specifically for this Vice doc, or whether it's what she actually thinks. The news items I've found discussing Lukyanova and time travel specifically all point back to this video. But, well, do with it all as you will. That's the documentary up there. Give it a watch and see what you think. Number 4, there is the hipster time traveler. In the early 2010s, a photograph depicting the 1941 reopening of the South Fork Bridge in Goldbridge, British Columbia in Canada went viral for seemingly depicting a man that looked just a bit too modern to have been photographed in 1941. He looks, in fact, like a time-traveling hipster: graphic t-shirt, textured sweater, sunglasses, the works. The photo hadn't been manipulated. The original can be seen here. So what the heck was going on? Well, Snopes has plenty of reasonable explanations for the man's appearance. Each item he's wearing, for example, could very easily have been acquired in 1941. Others have also backed up those facts. But the bottom line is that it's never been definitively debunked, so the idea that this photograph could depict a man from our time who had traveled back to 1941 persists. What do you think? Lastly, at number 5 we have the Tord mystery. It was July 1954 when a smartly dressed man arrives at Haneda Airport in Tokyo, Japan. Much like other passengers, he makes his way to customs. But whatever happened from this point onwards have left all puzzled and concerned. When questioned by the customs officers, the mysterious passenger said he was from a place called Tord. The mystery man claimed that it was the third time he was visiting Japan from his country. But, to the surprise of the officers, they couldn't find any country named Tord. The primary language of the man, described as Caucasian-looking with a beard, was French. However, he was apparently speaking Japanese and many other languages as well. Officers were perplexed because they had never heard about any such country. The passport of the man was issued by, of course, the Tord. The passport looked authentic, but the place was not recognized. The man was then given a map and asked to point out his country. He immediately pointed to the area occupied by the Principality of Andorra. Andorra is at the border of France and Spain. The man said that his country has been in existence for 1,000 years and was a little puzzled why his country was called Andorra on the map. The man argued with the customs officers for long and refused to give in. He was also carrying currencies of different countries, probably because he had made several business trips. The mystery man shared other details like the company for which he was working and the hotel where he stayed. Officials find out that the company which he mentioned existed in Tokyo but not in Tord. Similarly, the hotel he mentioned did exist, but hotel employees informed them that no such booking was made. This prompted officers to take the man in custody for further interrogation. Officers were suspicious that he might be some criminal and confiscated his documents and personal belongings. The officers put the mystery man in a nearby hotel whilst they conducted their investigation. To ensure that the mystery man didn't escape, 2 guards were placed on the door. It must be mentioned that the hotel room in which he was staying only had one entry and exit point. But to everyone's surprise, the man vanished the next morning. Not only that, but all his personal documents had also disappeared. A search was launched to find the man, but in vain. Some people argued that the mystery man was indeed from Tord, but the country happens to be in another universe and somehow passed through a parallel dimension and ended up at Haneda Airport. Another theory is that the mystery man was a time traveler and had mistakenly landed at the airport. Above all this, there are people who claim that it's just an elaborate internet hoax. That's all, folks, about the 5 best time travelers cases. Tell us what you think in the comments below, and we'll see you in another astonishing video. Take care, everyone.